back and just clip it up. And then you can see, obviously, I'll show you guys this before too, of what the hair looked like beforehand, but we have a good amount of length that we're gonna be bringing up today for this bob, and I am excited. I love a good bob. I am probably going to want to cut my own hair into a bob after I do this, but I've been growing it out now for over a year and I'm trying to like stick to it at least for the remainder of this year. We'll see. I might change my mind after today. So we are going to be doing like a true classic bob where it's off of the shoulder completely. It's going to have a very, very minimal angle coming towards the front, just enough to keep it in line because usually the back tends to grow out faster with most people. So in bobs, once that back gets too long, it kind of like throws off the balance. So we're gonna be keeping the back just a tiny bit shorter, but it's going to be a very classic, neat, all the way around perimeter cut. So we're gonna section off the back first, and I do pretty just basic sectioning with it, nothing crazy. If you want, you can split this into two to take your sections, whatever is going to get you the cleanest sectioning, you know, follow suit with that. But we're just coming straight horizontal lines across the bottom. And one thing I do a lot of times do in salon, they do make the, it's blanking out on me what they're called, but the things you can put over the shoulder. They're like more hard covers to keep this from getting in the way of the cape. So if you have one of those, great. If you don't, I just like to take the cape and I'll flip it around to the front of my client's neck. So the buttons are in the front. So that way the back is nice and even. There's nothing bunching here, getting in the way of our cut. So if you don't have a cutting cape thing, I don't know what they're called. If you know what they're called, put it in the comments because it's driving me crazy that I'm drawing a blank on this. But you can flip the cape around like this to keep a smooth surface. So always have the client look down. If you're cutting your own hair, it's a little hard to do that, but if you are cutting a client, have them angle their head down ever so slightly. So we're just going to get started. And what I'm gonna do is just cut this whole perimeter first. Actually, a good chunk of it, because again, we're gonna be off the shoulders. So I like to get rid of it. One less thing to worry about. So again, we're off of the shoulder completely. So I like to kind of guide with my hands. I can see it's flipping about right here, that it's touching it. So I'm just gonna cut barely above that line. And I'm just gonna actually use my comb as my guide for that because I don't wanna pull a ton of elevation because I want it to fall right in line where it's just off that shoulder. And the hair will shrink a little bit when it dries. One hair was sticking out. So again, all I did was just feel through to this, kind of was feeling where it curves. And I am cutting right at that curve line because it's going to shrink up nicely. If you wanted to, you could come in and just nip it if you want, which, you know what, I'll just do to show you guys, why not? So I'm just kind of letting my finger rest on it. I'm not necessarily like pulling it down with a comb, or with my fingers, I should say. That's laying nice. At this point, you could have your client lift their head a little bit to kind of check it and get a good idea to see if you need to raise it any bit more. But I think this is gonna be quite perfect. So now all we're gonna do is move into the next section. And I'm gonna keep this at, a lot of times you can stack a bob to create like the volume and roundness where you pull it out. I'm gonna do it with everything just dropping straight down for now because I want a really nice, thick, full, like very elegant, classic look to it. I don't wanna modernize it too much by creating too much of a stack. So the stack is when you come in and you pull it out and it creates this elevation going up. So it'll go where it's shorter underneath and it kind of gets a little bit longer as you move through to the occipital bone area, which creates a really pretty look. So to show you from a different angle, you come in and you would just pull this straight out. So we'll be doing a little bit of this after we get everything cut to just soften, but I really want to keep like a nice thick perimeter. So because of that, I'm opting to just do everything pretty much at 0 elevation. So all you're going to be doing is just combing the hair straight down and sort of using that comb to drop the hair down because I don't want to pull any tension. I want it to be right where I'm cutting it because again, this is going to shrink up a little bit when we go to dry. The hair is always going to get shorter when you dry it. So this type of bob is actually a pretty chill, easy haircut to do because you're not pulling with your fingers, you're just letting everything fall right where it needs to. And then you'll go in later after you've cut this back, you'll go in, cut the sides, and then you're gonna add just some soft, long layering. But you can go in and refine afterwards, after you get it dry, so you can see fully how it's laying. So I've got 2 more sections here to cut this back perimeter, and then we'll move into the sides. And then I do comb the hair that's in these corner sections. I do angle it back ever so slightly, which is what's going to help create just that slightest angle going forward. So as you can see from the side view here, it just